What has been the toughest thing about playing with LeBron James?
I wouldn't say any toughest.
That's the answer I was looking for.
Oh.
That's just the answer I was looking for right there. It's not tough. It should be easy to play with him.
Luka Doncic sat down with Snoop Dogg for what looked like a simple, laid-back interview. But nobody expected him to drop a line that would crack open one of the biggest divides in NBA culture today. He's talking about LeBron James, giving him credit for that unbelievable longevity, and then casually adds something that makes you pause for a second. I might not be able to walk anymore after 23 seasons. Luka says it with a laugh, but the message underneath it is anything but a joke. That wasn't a throwaway line. It was Luka revealing exactly what kind of player he is. And it's the total opposite of what's become normal in today's league. Because while LeBron is proudly stepping into season 23, Luka is basically telling you why he might never get that far and why he is perfectly fine with it. And before anyone takes that as a negative, let me show you why what Luka just admitted might be the most championship-driven mindset an NBA player has voiced in years.
Just wants to be great, man. Just talk about his 23rd season. I said I might not be able to walk no more at 23rd season, and he's still doing it at the best of the best.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like you mentioned a little bit about today's game, because we had Club on here and he talked about load management. He said, I don't know what the hell that is. Where is it going? And that's number one. And number two, how do we get it back?
Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management. It's hurting the game.
So here's what went down. Snoop asks Luka what it's really like playing alongside LeBron James, and Luka starts with the answer everyone expects. He praises LeBron, talks about how unreal it is that he's still performing at that level in his 23rd season. All the usual respect you hear from guys who play with him. But then Luka drops the line that flips the whole tone. He jokes that he might not even be able to walk if he ever reached year 2-3. And the way he says it makes it clear he's not really joking at all. There's honesty buried in it. Luka fully understands what his style does to his body. He knows the toll, he knows the cost, and he's completely willing to pay it. Because when the conversation shifts to championships, pay attention to the first thing out of his mouth. Kobe brought so many championships here. LeBron brought a championship here. That's not a dig at LeBron. That's Luka showing you exactly who he patterned himself after. That's Luka revealing where his real blueprint comes from. And when Snoop starts spinning those rings, talking about bringing Magic back to LA, Luka doesn't bring up longevity. He doesn't talk about playing into his 40s. He goes straight to one thing, chasing that ring.
That's amazing to know that you had a relationship with Kobe Bryant and now you playing with LeBron James in the building that means so much to us in LA. Does any of that go through your head while you playing and on a mission for a championship, thinking about that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kobe brought so many championships here. LeBron brought a championship here, so I want to be the next one to do it for sure. But just, I met Kobe. I playing with LeBron just as a little kid in Slovenia. I just wanted to play basketball. Just wanted to touch the NBA, and now I'm playing.
Even with a daughter on the way, even with a new life starting outside the game, Luka's mindset hasn't shifted an inch. His priorities are locked in, championships above everything else. And this is where things get interesting, because Luka's style of play is quietly exposing something today, as NBA doesn't like to talk about. There are two completely different roads to greatness in this league, and only one of them consistently leads to multiple rings. What we're watching is the difference laid bare. On one side, you have the longevity path. It's the modern philosophy. Protect your body, pace yourself, stretch your career deep into your late 30s or early 40s. Rack up counting stats, break records, preserve brand value. LeBron James perfected this route. He's selective about when he pushes. He controls his minutes. He skips games when needed, even when he's technically healthy, because it's all part of the plan. And the results speak for themselves. He's 40 years old, still producing at a high level, still rewriting the longevity record book. No one has ever done the long game better. Then there's the other path, the old school philosophy, the Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan approach. You treat every night like it matters. You don't request rest days. You fight through injuries that would sideline other stars. You pour everything you have into winning, even if it shortens your career. And here's the uncomfortable truth. This path destroys your body, but it produces more rings. Look at the history. Kobe Bryant pushed himself through 20 seasons, and by the end, his body paid the price. A torn Achilles at 34, years of wear that left him barely able to move in his final seasons. But look at what he earned, 5 championships. 5 times he climbed the podium holding the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Michael Jordan played 15 seasons with breaks in between, made a late career return at 40, and his knees were completely gone by then. He couldn't elevate the way he used to, but he still walked away with 6 rings. 6 times he proved he was the best player alive when everything was on the line.
But you have to really play hard. Does that hurt you physically?
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% all the time.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Wow. Like, and so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so you're like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit out? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I gotta be there.
I twist my ankle and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you know, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. You know, this is, you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
Now look at LeBron on the other side of that equation. He's entering year 23, and his body is still holding up better than anyone could have predicted. He's about to finish with more games played than any player in league history. He's already scored more points than anyone who's ever touched an NBA floor. The resume is massive, but then you look at the rings. 4 championships. 4 titles across 23 seasons, and most of those runs came with multiple All-Stars, stacked rosters, and super team-level talent around him. So it raises the question almost nobody wants to say out loud. What's actually more impressive, stretching your career longer than anyone else, or winning more championships when the pressure is highest?
I competed hard. I played the game the way it was supposed to be played. I played injured, and I played with a lot of pride. So I owe everything to the NBA.
Michael Jordan, the Magic Johnsons, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley's, we earned what we got. When the corporate America came to us, we had a game that could validate their admiration
and sponsorship and all that, yeah.
Now they get that before they play one game.
Yeah.
So you're rolling the dice to see if this kid's ever going to be good or not.
Yeah.
So in essence, you're paying the kid off of potential.
Yeah.
That he may be great.
You don't think that's good?
No, because I think it sets bad work ethic. When you get something so easily, you're not going to work as hard.
Now let's get into what Luka Doncic actually did this season, because this is where everything becomes clear. This is where you can see exactly which path he's chosen. And spoiler, he's not following the LeBron longevity blueprint. He's walking straight down the Kobe-style sacrifice everything path. Luka missed 18 games this year. On the surface, that sounds concerning. Until you look at why. Every single absence came from a real injury. 0 load management nights. 0 rest days. 0 being cautious. Luka played through a calf strain that should have sidelined him for weeks. He pushed through a knee issue that left him visibly limping on both ends of the floor. He even left one arena on crutches and still fought to return earlier than medical staff wanted. And here's the part people overlook, he lost MVP eligibility because of it. The league's new 65-game rule is supposed to discourage stars from resting, but Luka didn't miss games by choice. He missed them because he pushed so hard through injuries that his body finally forced him to stop. He gave up his MVP candidacy because he refused to sit when his team needed him. Think about that. LeBron has never dealt with this issue. He manages his body with precision. He always hits his game thresholds. He's calculated about staying eligible for awards. Luka, meanwhile, played with so much intensity that he literally broke past the point of sustainability. And even then, even when his team went 6-2 without him and proved they could hold their own, he rushed back because he hated watching from the sideline. That is the Kobe mindset. That is what it looks like when a player cares more about fighting every battle than preserving himself for the long war. And here's the complicated part. We don't yet know if this approach is brilliant or reckless. We won't know for 10 years. What we do know is this. The players who followed this mentality in past eras won more championships. That's just reality. Kobe's body broke down at 37, but he walked away with 5 rings. Jordan's body gave out by the end, but he retired with 6. LeBron's body is still holding up better than anyone ever expected. But he sits at 4. So which path actually produces more titles? And here's something most fans don't know about Luka. He met Kobe Bryant when he was a kid, long before he became a star, long before anyone knew his name, long before draft night ever entered the picture. Luka crossed paths with the Black Mamba early, and you can tell that moment stuck with him. Because in that Snoop interview, when he starts talking about Lakers championships, listen closely to the way he phrases it. Kobe brought so many championships here. LeBron brought a championship here. That choice of words isn't random. It tells you everything about who shaped his mentality, who he studied, and what kind of legacy he's chasing. Kobe brought many, LeBron brought a championship. Luka could have easily said they both brought titles, but he didn't. He separated them, and he put Kobe first. Now think about what Kobe's final seasons actually looked like. The man played his last year with a torn rotator cuff. He pushed through an entire season with knees that were basically gone. He couldn't elevate anymore, he could barely slide defensively, but he still showed up for all 82 games in multiple seasons because that's what he believed champions owed their team. You didn't ask for rest. You didn't request load management. You played through everything because your teammates and fans deserve that level of commitment. And this is where Kobe and LeBron couldn't be more different. Kobe's teammates watched him physically break himself for the sake of winning. They saw him push through injuries that should have ended seasons. They saw him refuse to sit out. That builds a culture. That creates an expectation. When your franchise player never takes a night off, nobody else has the right to complain about being tired. If your superstar is hobbling through playoff games on one leg, how do you justify sitting out with soreness? Now compare that to what LeBron's teammates see. They watch him skip games when he's healthy because of a back-to-back. They see the scheduled rest days, the managed workload, the long game strategy. Kobe built something in Los Angeles that went beyond basketball, a standard. And that standard was simple. You show up, you play hurt, you never make excuses, and you chase championships until your body gives out. That's why he walked away with 5 rings. That's why teammates would run through walls for him. So when Luka says he wants to be the next one to bring a championship to LA, when he mentions Kobe and LeBron both winning there, it's clear from the way he plays. The injuries he pushes through, the way he refuses load management even at the cost of MVP eligibility, that Luka is following Kobe's blueprint, not LeBron's. Now here's where we hit the part that's going to make some people uncomfortable. But these questions matter. And the only way to understand which path truly leads to greatness is by actually asking them. First question. If LeBron James had adopted Kobe Bryant's mentality, would he have more than 4 rings right now? Think about it. LeBron has played with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, Anthony Davis, multiple All-Stars and Superteam level talent for most of his career. He's always had championship caliber rosters. But he's also taken games off for rest, strategically sat out stretches, and managed his minutes heavily in later years. What if he didn't? What if he played all 82 games every year the way Kobe demanded of himself? What if he never took a night off? Would he be sitting at 6 rings? 7? We'll never know the real answer, but it's worth asking. Because the counter-argument is valid too. By preserving his body, LeBron has been able to compete for titles across 3 different decades. That's the longevity approach in a nutshell. Stay healthy longer so you get more opportunities. But that raises a real question. Do more chances actually matter if you don't to convert them at the same rate? Second question. Is making it to year 23 truly impressive if you sat out 50-plus games along the way to preserve yourself? LeBron is going to shatter every longevity record we track. Most games, most minutes, most seasons. But how many of those marks would he hold if he approached every night the way Jordan and Kobe did? And the bigger question, should longevity even be the metric we care about? Or are championship rings still the only stat that defines greatness? Here is a third question that cuts right to the core. What would Kobe Bryant say about load management? We actually have a pretty good sense because he spoke on it before he passed. He didn't directly attack players for resting, but his philosophy was unmistakable. He played hurt because he refused to let teammates down. He believed sitting out when you could play was disrespectful to fans who paid to see you. His entire identity was built on showing up no matter what. So, what would he think about a star sitting out a game healthy because it's the second night of a back-to-back? What would he think about load management protocols? We all know the answer, and Luka knows it too. That's why he plays through injuries instead of pacing himself. That's why he lost MVP eligibility for pushing too hard. He's following the Kobe code. Fourth question, and this is where things get uncomfortable. Did the era shift matter? In the 90s and 2000s, if you sat out without a serious injury, you were called soft. Your toughness was questioned publicly. Media and fans roasted you. That was the culture. But in the 2010s and 2020s, if you don't rest strategically, you're criticized for being reckless or short-sighted. The mentality completely flipped. So which era had it right? Which culture produced more killers? Which mentality led to more championships? Look at the evidence. The 90s had Jordan and the Bulls playing through everything, winning 6 titles. The 2000s had Kobe and Shaq, then Kobe and Poe, battling through injuries and winning 5 more. The 2010s and 2020s? The Warriors won with motion offense and carefully managed stars. The Raptors won with Kawhi Leonard barely touching the floor all season. The Bucks won, the Nuggets won. Great teams, but none built dynasties like the Bulls or Lakers. None of their stars reached the mythical status Jordan and Kobe reached. Maybe that's just coincidence. Or maybe it's proof that sacrifice, the refusal to sit mentality, creates legends in a way the be smart and preserve your body approach simply can tee. Fifth and final question. Does your best player S attitude toward the regular season shape championship culture? When LeBron sits out a game while healthy and his teammates see it, what message does that send? Compare that to Kobe's teammates watching him drag himself onto the court on one leg, watching him push through pain, watching him refuse every chance to take a night off. Which environment produces a tougher, more resilient team culture? There's no absolute right answer here, but the questions matter because what Luka is doing right now makes his position clear. He's playing through injuries. He's sacrificing MVP eligibility. He's rejecting load management entirely. He's telling you which path he believes leads to championships. And here's why that matters specifically for Lakers fans. Luka Doncic is 25 years old, and he's already on a direct collision course with his own body. He's playing the way Kobe played, refusing rest, prioritizing winning over longevity, and he told Snoop Dogg outright that bringing a championship to LA is the goal. But there's a clock ticking in the background. If Luka continues playing this way, he has maybe a 10-year window before the wear catches up. Kobe's body started breaking down around 34. His Achilles tear at 34 was the beginning of the end. If Luka follows a similar trajectory, Lakers fans realistically have until about age 35 to maximize this championship window. 10 years sounds long, but in NBA years, it's a blink. The Lakers just traded for Luka. They still have LeBron in year 23. They have Anthony Davis. The pieces are there, but the margin is tighter than people think. If Luka keeps sacrificing his body the way he has this season, this isn't going to be a 15-year partnership. It's going to be a blazing high-intensity, short prime run, just like Kobe's peak. And honestly, that might be exactly what Lakers fans want. Maybe they don't want another star focused on stretching his career into his 40s. Maybe they want someone who leaves everything on the floor. Someone who plays hurt. Someone who rebuilds that Mamba standard culture. Luka is already showing he's that guy. And if he holds up physically for the next 3 years, the Lakers could legitimately chase 3 straight titles. But that requires Luka staying on this path, refusing load management, showing up for every major matchup, and sacrificing his body when necessary. If he pivots to the longevity approach, sure, LA might get more total years out of him, but they might lose that championship urgency that defines true dynasties. That's the trade-off. Kobe's mentality comes with the shortened prime. LeBron's longevity approach comes with fewer championships per season. Luka has already chosen which direction he's going. The real question is whether Lakers fans understand what that choice demands. So let's bring it all together. When Luka Doncic said he might not be able to walk by year 23, he wasn't tossing out a joke. He was revealing the cost of greatness the old school way. He was telling you exactly which road he's walking. And it's not the modern preserve your body, play until 45 path. It's the Kobe path, the Jordan path, the sacrifice everything for championships path. LeBron James will finish with more years played than anyone in history. He'll rewrite every longevity metric. He may end with 5 or even 6 rings. That's an extraordinary career. But Kobe Bryant reached 5 rings in a shorter span and became a god in Los Angeles. Michael Jordan won 6 and became the defining basketball icon of an entire generation. Their shortened peaks didn't damage their legacies. They amplified them. They burned so intensely at the top that the impact lasted far beyond their final seasons. And Luka Doncic has already made that same choice. He's 25 years old and he's playing like his body is something he's willing to spend, not save. He's prioritizing championships over career length. He's following the Kobe blueprint, not the LeBron blueprint. And if history means anything, if the numbers from past grades tell us the truth, this approach might actually lead him to more rings. The question isn't whether Luka's path is right or wrong. The real question is what you value as a fan. Do you want a superstar who lasts 23 years, pacing himself and choosing when to push? Or do you want a superstar who gives you everything right now, burns out by 35, and leaves behind a wall of championship banners? Luka has already answered for himself. And if you're a Lakers fan, you better hope he stays committed to that choice, because the Kobe mentality may break his body by his mid-30s. But it's also the mentality that delivered 5 titles to Los Angeles. And right now, watching Luka refuse to load manage, watching him play through injuries, watching him lose. MVP eligibility because he played too hard. That looks a lot more like the foundation of a dynasty than it does a mistake. So comment below and tell me this. Which path do you respect more? The player who reaches year 23 by preserving himself, or the player who sacrifices everything for championships and retires early? Both routes create greatness. They just define greatness differently. And the road Luka is walking right now is the one that has historically led to more championship parades. If this hit you, hit that like button and subscribe, because we re-breaking down the real stories behind the headlines. And trust me, Luka's journey is only beginning.